So hierarchical relationship. So hierarchical relationship is basically it is available only on the user object. This relationship is available only on the user object. So hierarchical relationship is nothing but, for example, you have a user record, right? So if you go to the user object, so let's go to the user object, click on a setup and object manager and search for a user. So you have a user object. In this user object, you have a certain fields like ID, username, role, everything will be there. So when you click on a new button, you will be able to see the one of the relationship which is called as a hierarchical relationship. This hierarchical relationship is just available in the user object. If you go to any other object, you will not be able to see. So let me go to the position object. So go to the position object, click on fields and relationship, and click on the new button. It's not available. Even the standard object also it does not have. So if you go to the account and fields and relationship, now click on the new button, it does not have a hierarchical relationship. So hierarchical relationship only available on the user object because it's a hierarchical relationship is nothing but in like a simple example in the company, we have a hierarchy structure, right? So reporting person, this person is reports to whom? Who like if I'm working in a one company, who is my manager? And similarly for that manager, another manager will be there, superior will be there, right? So this is hierarchy. So when we are talking about the hierarchical relationship, it is only available on the user object. Let's say here we have a few users are there, Ram Kumar, Praveen, Suresh, Swati, and Sunny. So we have a certain roles like a junior software engineer, senior software engineer, tech lead, project manager, and CEO. So hierarchical relationship is nothing but it's kind of a self relationship. It's almost equal to self. That means within the same object. So we have a here manager, right? We have a manager here. Now, self relationship is also same, but there is a thin line. Self relationship you cannot create in the user object. In the user object, you can only create a hierarchical relationship. So we have a manager field. Let's say here Praveen. So Praveen is pointing to the CEO. That means this user, whatever this user is there, Praveen. So Praveen is the user. Praveen is, manager is within the same object. It's a user is Ram Kumar. Similarly, Suresh is reporting to the Praveen. Similarly, Swati reporting to Suresh. Sunny is reporting to Praveen. Let's assume that he is reporting to Praveen. So that means we have a self relationship within the same object, but it does not called as a self relationship, right? It does not called as a self relationship. It is nothing but a hierarchical relationship. So hierarchical relationship allows to map the association of the object with itself. With the same object, we can implement the hierarchical relationship. And both the parent record and child record will exist in the same object. So hierarchical relationship will be the applicable only on the user standard object. It is applicable only on the user standard object. So not even any custom object, other standard objects also it cannot be applicable. So we can map only within the user and user. Now let me show you that. Now let's click on here, hierarchical, choose the hierarchical and click on the next button. Let's say I'm going to create a manager. Let's say reporting manager. And on the next and then say. Now, if you go to the users record, user, click on these users. Now, let's say here, going to open the batch 5. In the batch 5, now let's say here, in the batch 5, now we have created which is called as a reporting manager. It is reporting manager. Click on edit. On this reporting manager, it is going to check other users. Whoever is the users, we have it. Everybody's user, it is going to check. Let's say integration user. Right, integration user is also within the same object. Right, so same object, I have an integration user and batch 5. So batch 5 reporting to the integration user. So just click on a save. So what will happen? Now here batch 5. Batch 5 is also in the user object, integration is also user object. But batch 5 is report to user interface. So that's exactly we have implemented. So here we have a integration user. So, right, so this is we have a relationship.
How do we use it in the real time?
So in the real time, basically what we do is we have some kind of a approval process. Right? Similarly, in the whenever you are, for example, let's take example of team outing. So whenever you have a team outing, whatever the budget is there, right? So if there is a budget related information and we need a different people approval is required. Different people or different members approval is required. Now that member approval is whoever is the manager is there, whoever is the manager is there, manager has to be approved. Like if batch 5 has spent the amount, batch 5 user has spent the amount. Now, whoever is the manager of batch 5 has to approve the first approval on that particular budget. Then once it is approved, then it has to go to the another person. So kind of like in real time, if you want to know who is the manager of this particular user in that scenario, or if they need to have some kind of a approval, then in that case, we will go for a reporting manager.
So usually you have the manager, which is out of the box from Salesforce, and then you can create another hierarchy for the reporting manager.
Yes, you can create.
Okay. And when you create, I know it's still an early question, but when you create an approval process, do you have the ability to pull the other relationship field as well, other than the manager?
Other field is nothing but
I mean the relationship field that you created now, the hierarchical one. Can you pull it in an approval process?
yeah, we can call it. So usually in the approval process, it will ask two questions. Is the self-approval or your manager approval? So when you say your manager approval, then it will go to the your manager.
Okay.
And in the user, you cannot create a other relationship. Only one relationship you can create it in the user object. You cannot
How many fields can you create for hierarchical?
Yeah, so I'm going to cover that. So here we can create only hierarchical relationship.
Okay.
So this is the reason is it has a hierarchical relationship is, so usually for every object, we have a lookup and master detail relationship. But coming to the user, so user does not have a self relationship or a lookup relationship. It does not have anything. So in case in the user, if we have to create a self relationship, it is not available. It is only available the hierarchical relationship. So maximum you can create a 40, around 40 you can create it.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's about the hierarchical relationship, and homework is configure the hierarchical relationship between the user and user object and list out all the observation. So hierarchical relationship is just a one-to-one relationship. One user to another user, just one-to-one relationship. So this is the different one. So trial head link and referral link. I have provided the referral link for the detailed information.